If I'd known the last summer before high school would be the one that shattered my world, I would have clung tighter to the little things. I would have paid more attention to the details, the flickers of movement in the trees, the way the air felt wrong at night, or how shadows started to linger just a little too long. But you don't expect horror to seep into your life like a slow, poisonous fog. You don't expect the people you trust the most to be the ones hiding the worst kind of secrets. I'm telling this now because I have to. Someone has to know the truth. It started with a dare. We were a tight group back then. Me, Lily, Tyler, Marcus, and Jess. We did everything together, from late night swims to sneaking beers from our parents' garages. We were young enough to still believe we were invincible, but old enough to want to test it. That night, we were out at Harlan's field, just past the tree line, where the corn grows so tall it swallows sound. Tyler had brought fireworks, and Jess was halfway through telling one of her ridiculous ghost stories when Lily pointed toward the forest. "Swear to God," she whispered, "someone's been watching us from over there for like 10 minutes. We all turned. Nothing. Just darkness and the rustle of summer wind through the corn. "Probably a raccoon," Marcus said, chuckling. But Lily wasn't laughing. Her face was pale, and I noticed her clutching her necklace, the one her grandmother gave her. "I'm serious," she said. "It was tall, like a person." Tyler, being Tyler, grabbed a flashlight and stormed toward the edge of the field, yelling, "Hey, you lost or something?" We all followed, the flashlight beam bouncing through the stalks. Nothing. No tracks. No sounds. Still, the mood shifted. The fireworks show ended early, and we all biked home in silence. The next day, Marcus didn't show up. At first, we thought he was just being a flake. He did that sometimes. But when his mom called Jess, asking if we'd seen him, that's when the panic settled in. We retraced our steps, even walked through the field again. No sign of Marcus. No sign of anyone. We didn't call the cops. Not yet. We were scared, sure, but we didn't want to believe something bad had happened. We were kids. We weren't ready to think like that. Then Tyler started getting the notes. Folded pieces of paper shoved through his window screen at night. Just a few words scribbled in jagged handwriting. "I see you. You were there." Next. He thought we were messing with him at first. A sick joke. But when we were all together, and another note showed up in his backpack, we realized something was really wrong. Lily swore she saw someone standing across the street from her house one night. Jess said her dog wouldn't stop barking at her closet. And me? I started hearing whispers. Not in my head. Real, audible whispers, coming from places they shouldn't. The bathroom drain, the air vents, once, even from my pillow. 2 nights later, Jess disappeared, gone without a trace. Her bedroom window was open. Screen popped out like someone had pulled her through it. No signs of a struggle. No footprints. Just gone. We were spiraling now. Lily barely slept. Tyler kept a bat with him at all times. And me? I started digging. I went to the library, looking through old newspapers, seeing if anything like this had ever happened before. That's when I found it. A string of missing teens dating back decades, all from our town, all vanishing around the same time. Late summer, just before school started. Never solved. Always chalked up to runaways. But it was too neat, too patterned. There was always a group, always the field. Then Tyler vanished. Lily and I were the only ones left. We clung to each other like lifelines. She moved into my room, and for a while, we thought maybe that was the key. safety in numbers. But the notes kept coming. The whispers got louder, and at night, I started seeing shapes in the hallway. Black, hulking figures that vanished when I turned the lights on. One night, Lily shook me awake, tears streaming down her face. "I saw him," she whispered, "in the mirror. He was behind me." We decided to go back to the field. Maybe it was stupid. Maybe it was brave. But we had to do something. We waited until after midnight, took flashlights and pocket knives, and rode our bikes like we were 10 years old again. The corn was taller than ever, the air too still, like the world was holding its breath. We stepped into the rows. It was quiet, too quiet. I called out for Marcus, for Jess, even for Tyler. Nothing. Then the flashlight flickered, and Lily gasped. Ahead of us, hanging from the corn stalks by strings tied around their wrists, dozens of dolls, old, worn, and rotting, some missing eyes, some with their mouths sewn shut. Then we heard footsteps, running, fast, behind us. We turned and ran, cutting through the corn, trying to get to the clearing. But Lily tripped. I turned back, and I saw him. The thing, tall, wrong, wearing a face that wasn't his, skin too tight, eyes hollow, and yet familiar. I grabbed Lily, yanked her up, and we bolted. We didn't stop until we were back in my room, doors locked, lights on. We didn't sleep. The next morning, Lily was gone. Not missing. Gone. Her stuff. Her scent. Her toothbrush. Her clothes. Even the indentation in the bed. Like she never existed. But I remembered. And I still had the final note left on my pillow. You were the one I wanted all along. That day, I went to the police. I told them everything. They didn't believe me. Not really. But they filed reports, took statements. I knew they wouldn't find anything. So, I went to the one place I hadn't thought to check. Mr. Avery's house. He'd been our science teacher in middle school. The cool teacher. Always gave us extra credit. Let us hang out in his classroom after school. He lived just 2 blocks away from me, in a little gray house with the peeling paint and the overgrown lawn. He was the one who told us about the field in the first place. I biked there just as the sun was setting. Knocked once. No answer. Then I tried the door. Unlocked. Inside, it smelled like mold and copper. The walls were covered in newspaper clippings. Every missing kid. Every runaway. Pictures of us. Candid shots. Some taken from windows. Some taken inside our homes. I found a door in the floor of the pantry. A trapdoor. Below, a staircase into darkness. I went down. The basement was lit by flickering bulbs. In the center, a table. On it, photos. Dozens. Maybe hundreds. And in the far corner, something moved. I approached slowly, heart in my throat. It was Tyler. Alive. Barely. Chained to the wall. Eyes wide, mouth sewn shut. I screamed. Fumbled with the chains, trying to undo them. That's when I heard the footsteps behind me, and the voice. Always so curious, Evan. Mr. Avery stepped out of the shadows, holding something that looked like a bone. He was smiling, but it wasn't a smile. It was hunger. You were the smart one, the quiet one, the one who noticed. I grabbed a rusted pipe from the floor and swung. It connected with a crack, and he dropped. I didn't look back. I dragged Tyler out, called the cops from the neighbor's yard. They found everything. Proof. Victims. Even Lily's necklace. Mr. Avery was arrested. Convicted. The town buried the story, like it always had. But I still hear the whispers. I still wake up with notes on my pillow. Because when you look into the dark long enough, something looks back, and sometimes it doesn't like being seen. That's all for now. But evil never rests. If you enjoyed the story, like and subscribe. It helps the shadows find you again. And if you've ever seen something you shouldn't have, I want to know. Comment below. Share your story. Let's keep the darkness alive.